All right, so I want to go ahead and intro our featured guest, and I want to hear from some more of y'all in a little bit, but we still got a show to do. We're here with Bobby Huntley, director, producer, writer, editor. Began his journey in filmmaking at the age of 10 years old. 10. Also trying to figure out math at that age. He's known for storytelling. His teachers began to encourage him to submit short films and mini docs instead of just the written assignments. Since completing film school, Bobby has continued to study his craft, hone his voice as a filmmaker, and his intense passion for the arts and his creativity has captured viewers with each new film. He specializes in striking visuals, provocative characters, effective music placement, and period pieces done within a wide range of budgets and resources. Let's give it up for Bobby.
Happy to be here, you guys. Thank you so much.
Man. All right, so Bobby, we just heard from a few people kind of coming up to share the projects they're working on, what they're doing. Just, I want to get more into your journey in a second, but what are you like feeling right now as you're hearing all the projects we're working on?
I'll just say God knows what he's doing, because it's rare to come into an event where there's like set schedule and things supposed to happen and a speaker. There's really an opportunity to be able to come up and introduce yourself to everybody in the room on the microphone, say who you are, what you're doing, because I know for somebody might have anxiety or shy and all these things like me, it's difficult to just go up to strangers and be like, hey, I do this, I do that. So, to be able to just come up and, talk your stuff, you don't know, somebody might be in the room like, oh, that's the person I need to keep my eye on. I need to go introduce myself to him and or her. And, so it's an amazing opportunity. And this weekend is really great because, it all starts with the written word. And, writing is definitely extremely important, the thought process, the creative process. So, that's what we're here to talk about. So I'm happy to be here.
That's what's up. Another round of applause for y'all real quick, too, because coming up, it's definitely a big thing. So doing this since 10, kind of reading your bio, just seeing all the things you do, it just like would feel like you've had this figured out from the beginning. Like, okay, yeah, let me just go ahead and create this movie real quick. And it's cool you were encouraged at such a young age, but do you remember back then, like, were you doing this for a particular project? Do you have any interest into it? Like, what kind of just pushed and stimulated your creativity?
Well, honestly, for me, as a 10-year-old, finding out, at family gatherings and us getting together every weekend, you have a camera in your hand, you tell people to do something, they do it. And I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. Okay, cool. And eventually I figured out in-camera editing and creating some sense of a linear story with shorts. I would see either a movie or my favorite TV show was like Mad TV, so skits. And so we would just recreate that, and then the next weekend, everybody would come, where's that thing that you shot last weekend? We just all sit around the TV and watch it, and that was the only time I felt truly seen by my family. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't winning the trophies and doing all these other, things that my other cousins were doing. So through that, and then, doing it through school, I learned truly what my voice was and, what I was meant to do.
Did you feel pressure to like go out and compete in things like sports and like all the other things your family were like, oh yeah, go ahead and do this, Bobby?
No. I mean, any pressure was more internalized because, you just always try to, compare yourself to others. And that's one of those important lessons that I had to learn. And I'm still learning that today. You cannot, or you should not, compare yourself or your journey to other people. We are all on our own track in life. And, we have to go through our own things. And this is just my belief as a writer, as a creative, as an artist. Sometimes we have to go through additional things or feel things way more so that our work can resonate with people on a deeper level, emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual, all of those things. So everything that you're going through now or went through in the past, you stir it in a big pot and you use it. That's your duty, that's your job if this is something that you really want to do. So whatever it is, just embrace it. Like, oh, things ain't going right now, but I'm going to use this later. Yeah.
I feel that. So can we talk about kind of that transition where you are, creating things to make your family laugh, the people around you, going from skits to being like, okay, yes, these are skits, but I actually think I might have something going on. Do you remember that mindset back then?
Well, I do remember a fundamental moment. So my childhood was mainly in Seattle, Washington, and then coming here, I learned that my humor didn't really translate that well. So I had to take a step back and really kind of study in a way that my 12-year-old mind could grasp the concept. Study what works, what doesn't, how you can reach the widest audience possible. And so it's just definitely an adjustment period. And eventually, I think in 12th grade, I did this thing called OEC, where half the day you do your regular courses at school, but then you get on the bus, and then the other half of the day you go to another campus. And I just so happened to go to a filmmaking class my 12th grade year of high school. And that's where I really actually started to learn the fundamentals of filmmaking and writing and all those things. So it's really just a journey in, you might have the talent and gift, but it takes the act of actual studying to really make a huge difference. So that's something I had to learn over time.
I hear a lot of people say consistency, which is important. Just keep practicing, but you're talking about like truly studying the art of it, not just necessarily testing, but learning and educating yourself. Is that something you knew you had to do, or just as you were going through the process, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of glad I did?
Well, the studying and applying what you learn goes hand in hand. So that's why I preach that it is important to constantly do projects and release them. Don't just do something and just put it on the back burner, because that's gotten me in trouble. Hide it away for years and years and years and not let nobody see it, because there's no growth in that. And then also with that, people like to see your growth. There's a reason why, you take pride if you discover an artist when they're first starting and they don't have the money or the outfits or the this and the that. And over time, you see them, they're starting to level up and level up and level up. People love to see that journey. So involve your people, your community into that journey. And then they'll, of course, lift you up and help you as well. So you can only do that by sharing your process and your progress, for sure. Yeah. So that's a lesson I definitely learned as well. So you just take things and analyze them from all angles as you can as a scientist. You have to be a scientist as well. Why is this working? Why is this not working? Why aren't they laughing at this part? Why are they crying at this part? I didn't mean for it to hit like that, or, everything comes down to a science. So, yeah, it goes hand in hand.
We can't just be creatives. We have to be artists. We have to be scientists, truly growing.
Yes. And entrepreneurs as well.
All the hats. Now, you mentioned something about back burners, and I actually want to ask you all real quick, like show of hands, because I'm putting my hand up. This is definitely me. How many of y'all have something that's been on the back burners for a minute now? Okay, that's basically almost everybody. So we got to go back to you putting things on the back burners. Is there, when you think about projects you've worked on, and it's just kind of sitting there, not going anywhere, not being published, is there a certain project that kind of speaks to you, that calls out, that you just had almost there, but you just couldn't move past it?
Don't I? Yeah, so about 10, 12 years ago, after I got out of film school the first time, I'm an overly ambitious person. I'm always trying to go above and beyond, even if it gets me in trouble or not. That's just how I live my life, whatever. But I did my first feature-length film entitled Herbert and Cleophas and the Unfortunate Chronicles of the Kidnapping of Miss Ella Finn. And what that was a 1940s screwball comedy in the style and tone of like Harlem Nights, Life, and a little bit of Color Purple, and all those classic movies that we love and hold so dear as a people. So I was like, okay, even though if I might not have the money or the this and the that, I'm still gonna use my know-how and just figure it out, get my friends together. We're just gonna shoot every weekend and just piece it together. And I was very big on Curb Your Enthusiasm at the time, and that show is known for not really having a script per se. They have an outline of some sorts, and they just get together and then use it and do it. And pretty much what that kind of did was it created a process that was very fun, organic, and we put bits and pieces like trailers and teasers out over time, and people were like, oh, I love what you're doing, da, 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 da. I want to be a part of it. So we just invited people on set and more characters. It got bigger and bigger. We eventually had the cars, the hair, the clothes, the wardrobe, makeup, everything. It took us 2 years to do. And it was completely finished, but I put it on the back burner. I put it on the shelf and I locked it away because I got into my head and felt it wasn't good enough. because I started to internalize everything and like, oh, well, I can't compete with the Harlem Nights. I can't compete with the Light. They had multi-million-dollar budgets. People gonna look at this and see how cheap and it was just all this negative things that I was feeding into myself with the process. Of course, the older me now is kicking myself, like, had I just put it out or even knew about the film festival circuit then, somebody in that audience would have saw promise in it at that time. But I got in my own way, and I didn't allow that to happen. Fortunately, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't stop. I went back to school for a year. I did other projects. I learned how to let go of that aspect of myself, which is getting in my own way too much, getting in my head too much, and having an almost obsessive, right, Rita? Obsessive attitude about we have to complete this project. We have to get it out by any means necessary. And that got me, acclaim, and I'm able to travel with my films all over the world and all these amazing things. But saying all that to say, 10 years later, I felt bad because I didn't take that, all the things that I've learned and apply that to my film I did years ago, the Herbert and Cleophas joint. So over the past couple of years through the pandemic, I got everybody back together, and we did a documentary about the making of said film. So the documentary is called What Had Happened Was, the Herbert and Cleophas story. Because even now to this day, me, myself, all the actors, everywhere we go, hey, what happened to that movie y'all was doing? What happened with that? So we got everybody back together, and it was just a real, true therapeutic red table talk meets masterclass where everybody got their grievances out. I heard everything. It was, even to the point where, like, Bobby, there were people who were so upset with you and giving themselves for 2 years to a project, and they had nothing to really show for it, that they stopped acting. I had no idea. We were all dealing with our things, but creating a space and a lane for people to talk and air their grievances out. And I was smart enough to see it as a moment that could be a therapeutic experience for everybody. And it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie, to just sit there and hear the worst things, about you. But it was a conversation that needed to happen. And this past May, I put out all the stops, and we were able to premiere the documentary at the Regal Cinemas at Atlantic Station. So a lot of those actors, they never really had a red carpet experience before. So I went the whole 9 yards to basically make right. You know what I'm saying? Because I know as artists, we were all young, we were kids, we were hungry, very hungry. And I never want to be the source of killing that joy for somebody. So that is a project that I hold near and dear to my heart. We are touring that project now. We just did Miami, we'll be in New York, LA, and Detroit, and maybe another city or two. And then we'll bring the project back here sometime in October. So, keep an eye out for that, because I guarantee you, everybody in this audience, even if it's not a film, music, whatever, a book, we all have a project that we hold near and dear to our hearts, or something that we really wanted, that we worked very hard for, but it just didn't happen for whatever reason. So I wanted to make sure that story was authentic and true and resonated with people all over the world, no matter what was going on. So, yeah, that's what I did with that.
Can we get a round of applause real quick for that? He went back. He went back and said, okay, it's not going to be exactly how it was, but we're going to do something with this, celebrate all of y'all, and premiere it. Not just once, but going on a full tour. That's what's up. Now, for y'all taking notes, two things. One, I want to get to questions soon, so think of a question you want to ask. This is a great opportunity to learn from the best. But you've mentioned a few things while we're talking. Just continuing to push through and put it out by any means necessary. That's amazing advice. Don't compare yourselves to others. More amazing advice. But that's hard, right? Because we live in this world where it's just like, it's almost human nature to compare. Like, okay, this is what I'm doing. It's kind of like this. You do it for inspiration, comparing to see how good it is. And then other people are going to compare your work as well. So how do you, like at this point in your life now, going through all of this, what do you do so that you have a more healthy approach to your projects?
Oh my God. It's a process every day. We all have our moments, of doubting ourselves, doubting our journey, questioning God and his timing, and just, are we even doing the right things, or even going about it the right way? But You just have to have that, internal dialogue and just really firmly believe that you're doing what you're put on this earth, that you feel that you're doing, you're put on this earth to do. Am I making sense? And definitely making sure that your motivations are for the right reasons. One thing I learned, I have a specific example. So at the top of the pandemic, it was a wild, or at the beginning of the pandemic, or rather, it was a wild time. Like nothing felt real. It felt like a movie. Like, what's happening? Why is everything stopping? It didn't make sense to me. So in my mind, as a creative, I had to turn it into a creative moment. So I was like, well, okay, what can I do about this pandemic? So I was coming up with these crazy, zany ideas, and I didn't realize it at the time, but my motivation wasn't the best. And I was definitely, of course, overcompensating and just trying to cope in the way that I know how as a creative. I'm just trying to create something. But then God tapped me on my shoulders like, this is not the time, So I waited, I think, a few weeks, and I prayed on it. And because I think that's if one thing that the pandemic did, it taught us there is value in stillness. So I had to learn that. So when the time was right and it came, he tapped me on my shoulder again. And what started was, the initial concept was, oh, let me show what I can do. Let me show what I, could come up with, which, that's still a part of me. But, at that time, what was this, our mayor at the time, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom, she was dealing with so much disrespect, frankly, in her, I believe, honest and earnest attempt at keeping everyone safe while our governor was going in a completely different direction, if we can understand that. So I combined my story with really wanting to help and amplify her voice and try to reach people in a way, because I can understand this is a very traumatic time and experience for everybody, and art has a way of cutting through all of that. So my motivation shifted to a place of service. And that was the project that on a lot of levels changed a lot of things for me, which was Corona Man. It went viral tremendously. Like, all the celebrities were sharing and posting it. I had a lot of amazing meetings with, top companies and film producers and stuff like that, and relationships that I've built since then. But that kind of taught me to make sure I center myself first, asking, is this the right story to tell? Am I the right person to tell this story? Are my intentions and motivations clear with this story? So I've adopted that kind of thinking with all of my projects moving forward. Yeah.
That's what's up. I remember when Corona Man came out. That was like much needed entertainment and joy in this like dark time. So you definitely provided a service. Those questions you ask yourself, do you ever, because anxiety is real, it'll have us thinking that we're not the best, we're not ready for this, like, no, can't do this right now. Do you feel like you are at a place where you could actually like answer that like accurately, just even with anxiety in mind?
It's still a battle. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's a day-to-day battle. Some days are a lot easier than others for me, but then it goes back to stillness. If you have all that wrestling in you that you can barely function, that might mean you need to sit down for a day or two, a week, a month, whatever. Because at the end of the day, your health and your mental health and your well-being is more important. So nobody's really putting that pressure on you but you. It's all internal. The calls are coming from inside the house. So, you know what I'm saying? So I had to learn that. So I just like, all right, God, that's what you want. Turn the lights off, lay down, and just chill, decompress, and, find people to talk to. I reach out to my team all the time. I bother Abina a lot. Hey, Abina, right there. That's one of my producers. How you doing? Wave louder, bigger. There you go. Amazing producer right there. Thank you. And, you just have to weigh what is important in your life in that moment. And that's definitely a lesson that I had to learn myself. And I'm still learning it day to day. So, yeah, just be still. Sit down.
I needed to hear that. Well, be still. Yes, I feel that. All right, y'all. Do we have some questions for Bobby?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Tajiana. I'm an actor, writer, filmmaker person from the Bay Area. I'm super excited to be in Atlanta and be with you guys and hear this. This is amazing. So I'm excited to be here. I wanted to ask you, as a multi-hyphenate, how do you grapple with the evils of just kind of not being in one niche. I've heard a lot about people wanting, especially as an emerging artist, to pick a lane and to kind of just channel one art form. But how do you continue to overcome and continue to create when you're directing, writing, etc.? You're in multiple roles, you're producing. How do you continue to strive forward when you're in multiple roles?
Thank you for that question. Well, for me, as a child, I started in music first. I was writing and producing my own music at like 5, 6, teaching myself instruments, all that crap, and drawing, painting, dancing, choreography, putting groups together in the playground and being their manager, all of just bouncing the wall. Yeah, I was one of those kids. And fortunately, when I discovered filmmaking, that is the one art form that encompasses everything. So I found peace within that. Like, oh, I can, I do a lot of my own scores. Oh, I can create the music for my films. Oh, I can maybe paint or select some paintings that's going to go on the wall, or, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But, saying all that to say, whatever it is that you want to be known for, you have to make a decision on what that particular thing is. And then also, for me, in the ADD of it all, it's great to introduce yourself with one thing and then slowly branch out and show people that, hey, I could do these other things too. Because you don't want to get people too overwhelmed. But, at the end of the day, if you bad and you could do it all, then just, do it all. But don't put too much pressure and stress on yourself to do it all. It's perfectly fine and okay to bring together a crew of people that you can trust, and learning delegation is definitely key, and that's an art form in that. So you don't have to do it all. You do not have to. You have the support. Use the support. But it's just more of a personal thing for each person. But I personally am a firm believer of coming in the door with one thing, and then once you're established in that, like, oh, hey, by the way, I could do this, this, and this. But still, you can do these different side projects to build your muscle and all these other avenues. That you can do that at the same time. But as far as introducing to the world at large, words, yeah, Writers Weekend, got to use the right words. Introducing yourself to the world at large, try to, formulate one path so it's not too confusing. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did answer my question. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
What's your name again?
Oh, my name's Tajana.
Tajana?
Like Tatiana, but just
Okay,
with a J.
Tajana. Can we give Tajana a round of applause?
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming up.
Oh, I wanted to add one more thing. If anybody needed support in the Bay Area in California, let me know. Come find me. I have a digital business card if people want to connect or whatever. Yeah. Okay,
Ink from
bye.
California. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right.
Awesome.
Go ahead. One more.
What's up, everybody? Can everybody hear me all well? Yeah. So my name is Chauncey Johnson. I actually have a film that was selected for this film festival called Control. It's an incredible film. We actually won an award and been in other festivals throughout the year. And one thing that I wanted to ask you about was I kind of struggle with the idea of dream versus opportunities. And I was wondering, like, for you getting into filmmaking, was it a dream of yours or was it an opportunity that you followed that fell into your lap?
Oh boy. Okay. That's a tough question for me because I'm trying to think back to my 10-year-old self. Honestly, I feel like it was something that kind of fell into my lap, and it took years and time for me to realize what the dream was and what was possible. Because I don't think it was even till 12th grade, which ironically my mom forced me to go to the videographer filmmaking class. I was just gonna do some random class and just whatever. But I didn't know that you could have a career in this. I'm the first person in my family not to go to college, but graduate college. So it wasn't really, I didn't know what was outside of the walls of, I didn't know what life was going to be like personally. So once I discovered the career aspect, then the dreams opened up, because you got to know what to dream about in order to dream it. There was a disconnect. Yeah, you watch TV. Yeah, you watch movies. I want to do that, but what's that? How? You know what I'm saying? So for me, honestly, it was both. But for me right now in my dreams, I find ways to create opportunities within them, not only for myself, but everyone around me. So, and I know you're not really going in this direction, but dreams are very important to me, and I love my sleep because a lot of my films come to me in my sleep. So the act of dreaming is very heavy for me. So that's all one and the same for me. I don't know if I quite answered your question.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I'm one of those people too that kind of like the dream was to be an actor, and I moved out to New York to be an actor.
Yeah.
And then an opportunity came to me just to write, and I started writing comedy sketches and stuff like that. And then I realized that I can edit, and then I realized I could direct and stuff like that. And it was just following the opportunity rather than just following what I thought was the dream. So it's kind of like what you're saying, like you have this idea to go into something, and then it expands into something bigger because these other opportunities come to you. So
Got you. Yeah, and the opportunity is the actions that you take. So I feel you on that. Yeah, you got to take the action in order for it to happen. So yeah, I'm with you, man. Congrats on your film and all that. By
Let's
the
give
way.
him a round of applause, y'all. All right, Bobby, I want to thank you for your time, everything you shared. You shared a lot of gems. I really love everything you shared about stillness and knowing when it is your time. And I know you got a lot coming up, going to feature the film again in October. So can you tell everyone how they can follow you, support you, and just get involved?
Get involved. Yeah. So I am B Huntley Films on Instagram and the Twitter and the whatnot. Bobby Huntley Films on Facebook. I just love, building a community and being involved in my community. So if you guys have any questions or have any insights or anything like that, definitely reach out to me. I love talking to people. Some people don't believe that, but I actually do love talking to people. Yeah, I'm out here in these streets. I'm going to be working on several projects, that's going to be coming out. And finally in this place of attracting investors, so I'm be in position of doing bigger and better projects. So I'm definitely going to be blessed in that capacity, and I just look forward to working with some new, brilliant people. So yeah, thank y'all so much. We had like stuff to show in films and stuff, but we made it work, and I appreciate y'all for allowing us the space to make this work. So thank you.
Thank you all. Now, don't go anywhere. We're about to have another session starting. I believe it's the Access to Hollywood, so stay tuned. They're coming through with some more gems for y'all. But Bobby, appreciate you for coming down, sharing with us, and make sure you're following because you got to check out when he shares the films he's working on. You definitely want to see it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
All right. Oh, and my name's Walt, by the way. I do podcasting and stuff. So if you got any podcasts.
I'm sorry. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, I do podcast production, a little content strategy, helping people create, not on his level, but help you get to where he's at. So.
Man, it's all needed. What you mean, man? What you mean? It's all needed.
It's all needed.
It's all needed.
It's all needed.
There we go. And they can
needed.
find you where and how and where can we listen to this podcast?
Appreciate you. This is what community and support is like, y'all. Easiest place, It's the Great Walt on Instagram. Walt. I like that, by the way.
WALT.
Yes, on Instagram, on all the platforms. bosslocksmedia.com is the website. Let me know what you need. Come find me after this as well. All right, y'all.
Let's have a blessed day, y'all. Thank y'all so
Yes.
much.
Let's go and create.